We're going to go through some daily uses of all-in response on the fly. So I've got clickers in my classroom. The clickers are hooked up, and I've got a class roster, so I'm ready to use the clickers on a day in and day out basis with zero prep. A lot of clicker systems require you to do a lot of work before you can use them. We take the approach that you can use them right out of the box on day one. So I'm going to use all-in response on the fly. I'm going to give it a name, and I'm going to select my roster. I've got my clicker bar here, and I am ready now to ask a question. So we recommend to have that clicker bar up anytime you're doing instruction, because you can do a student engagement right on the spot with zero prep. So I'm going to ask you guys a question. I'm going to hit start question here. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to verbalize a question to my class. So I'm making up the content as I go. And so we've been talking about the sun and our solar system and the earth today in my class. And so here's a question. If the earth were the size of a golf ball, how big is the sun? So A is a basketball, B is a barrel, or C is a school bus. So the students now are going to click in their answers. And so we've got the students answering the question. Everybody's answered the question. I'm going to end the question, and it brings up our bar here. So 3 answered basketball, 3 answered the barrel, and 2 answered the school bus. The correct answer is C, the school bus. So ask a question not from my most outgoing or smartest kids, but from every kid in the class. We've gotten immediate feedback from every kid. I'm tracking every student, as you'll see in the reports when you're done. And all that I did to make C the correct answer is I just clicked on the bar. We could also check the box down here. 25% of us got it right. If this were your class, would you reteach it? Everybody says, yes, I would reteach that. So there's just in the moment student engagement, in the moment immediate feedback. Now we're going to switch, and we're going to use content from another program. I've got BrainPop pulled up here. Right now, when I do a BrainPop question or from another web-based program, we display the question. I get feedback from 1 or 2 kids, and I do the thumbs up or thumbs down with the rest of the kids, or shake your head yes or no, did you get it? So with All-in Learning, we remove the ambiguity. I've got the question pulled up here in BrainPop. I'm going to start the question. So the students are responding. I end the question. It brings up the bar chart. We did much better on this one. The correct answer is D, so I click on D to make it correct. 75% of the kids got it right. So using BrainPop and other web-based materials, we can easily get feedback from our students, again, without creating anything in All-in Learning in advance. I'm just going to go through an example with my document camera. Now, if you have your document camera already connected and can display materials and questions from underneath that, great. We do have a tool built into All-in Learning. Under Lessons and Assessments, I've got the teacher tools, and I can access my document camera. And I've got a vocabulary word from this week. The vocabulary word is there. I'm going to use this word in a sentence. The students turned in their homework. Is that A, correct, or B, incorrect? So I'm going to start the question, and the kids, as always, are going to answer. 7 of us answered B, which was a correct answer, so I click on B. 88% of us got it right. Now I'm going to take it a step further, and I'm going to randomly select a student to answer a verbal question that I'm going to pose to that student. I'm going to pick student Dirk Nowitzki. So Dirk, tell me how I did, as I used in the sentence, how you would spell there. And he says T-H-E-I-R, and I say great job. I'm going to hide that. Now I'm using my document camera. I've got a question that I'm posing to my math students. And so they're going to get out a piece of paper, get out a pencil. So they're going to solve the problem. They're going to follow the steps like I want them to. But when everybody's done, I'm going to say put down your pencils. I'm going to say pick up your clicker, and I'm going to give them the answers from which they can select. I'm going to click start question, and now they are going to answer that question. So my kids have answered the question. Another trick that math teachers will do is they'll put "not here," and that'll be a way to get the students to think twice about their answer that they're entering. I'm going to end the question. We see that half of us answered A and half of us answered B. So I may say someone that answered B, have them go through their thought process. Someone that answered A, go through their thought process. I can click on the correct answer. 50% of us got it right. So in my normal class, if I had given that to my students and I have to grade that problem 150 times, by the end of the night, I've got some data there. It's not immediately actionable. If I didn't get around to grading it until 2 or 3 days later, well, All-in Learning helps you capture it immediately, store the results immediately, and I can intervene immediately as well. So this winds up saving the teachers a lot of time. So teachers are charged on a regular basis to do student engagements, formative assessment, use technology, response to intervention, do multiple response strategies. And All-in Learning, in a very simple way, helps us do all of those things in a fraction of the time, gives us data that we need in the moment and after the fact from a documentation standpoint. And all the while, we have our students engaged. They're getting the feedback that they need. I'm getting the feedback that I need as well. I'm going to close our session and hit OK. And it's going to post these results to the reports. I'm going to go to the reports. There's my class presentation. I can click in here and see how did my class do, so I see which kids need help immediately. I'm going to take this one step further. Even when we do these sessions on the fly, we can go in, we can attach a standard after the fact. So I'm going to go in here to my actions. I can edit the key in standards, and you can see we asked 4 questions. We've got the state standards and the Common Core standards loaded. So I can click into the Common Core state standard that was covered on this. For example, you would be selecting your own standards, and this was 5th grade. And if all the questions were covering this standard here, I would add that standard to all questions. I can click Save. And now I've got standards-based data that was generated across all of my students for that entire day that's captured in the cloud. And that whole process takes us a very little time. The data that we capture, when I click in the class presentation and I want to look at the item analysis here, I can see on question 1 which kids got it right. I can also see which kids missed it and how they answered those questions. So my intervention can be very timely, can be and very specific as well. And that is some really quick applications of using the clickers on the fly, covering a variety of daily and weekly strategies that we're trying to cover at our campus.